This is something you can do in the house, but it's not for the beginners. It is for the more advanced. And basically what we've got there is a flower in a tank of water, suspended. We've got a stick going across the top there, held in place by some blue tack on there and just some tape to keep the flower in position. It's important to use the blue tack because the flower will roll if you don't use that. Tend to try and come up to the top because it's full of air. So that just positions everything, keeps it in place. And basically all we do is, you do need a flash for this. So we've got a backdrop on here, we've got a black backdrop, we've got a nice coloured flower in there. It's a actual dead tulip, but you can see it's been in the water for a bit. It's a little bit floppy now. And all we do is put the flash to the side. You need to set up your shot, so you take some test shots and obviously get the light correct. I'm using studio lights simply because I'm working in the little studio and the lights are already there, but you don't need studio lights, you can use the flash. But it is nice to be able to use flash off the camera, so you can use triggers, flash triggers, and if you've just got your flash to the side of the tank, so it's just lighting correctly onto the flower. And I say that takes a little bit of setup, moving your flash around to be able to do that, and that will then give you a shot. So you just take the shot with the flower in the water like that. But then what we're going to do, using our jug, and it's important this, if you fill the water up to about that height in your tank, it is then now going to get a jug of water and tip it in, because what's going to happen is this water is going to keep rising and rising until it gets to the top, and then it's a nightmare to try and get out, or it starts overspilling. So once we've got the level, I'm just going to use a jug here and take it out of there and fill this up. Just thinking about composing your shot as well. Now you can put your camera on a tripod. That may be better in some cases, because what you can then do is put it on your tripod, get the focus, and then change the focus to manual. But you need to think about the composition. So when you're taking the shot, you've got the flower in the middle there. I'm going to be, obviously the petals of the flower on this are coming out this way. So when I put the water in, because what we're going to do is to capture the bubbles in the water, so I pour that by the flower, and I pour it just to this side of it, because the petals are coming this way. So I'll line it up, I'll get that flower to the left hand side of my frame, because all the movement is going to be on this side of the frame. I'm just going to pour it in like that, to that side of the flower. So you get all those bubbles coming down. And then you take your shot and you capture all those bubbles. So it's a fairly easy setup. It's mastering your flash, playing about with your flash. I would advise you not to use ETL, but to actually manually use the flash, and I have done videos on that before. I'll put them on a link so that you can view those again. But it's about setting your flash manual, get the lighting correct. You can use a reflector, so you could use a white board to bounce the flash back and get light on the other side. Or if you've got two flashes or two studio lights, which I use, you can obviously balance the light out that way. So shooting, really a macro lens is good because it means that you can sort of get close and you can focus close to a frame. It obviously, you don't want to the top of the water showing. You want to make sure you've got the bottom of the flower on, make sure it's positioned slightly to the left so you can capture the bubbles. Well, it might be on the right in your case, it depends on the actual flower that you're using. It may be that you've got a flower that's sort of evenly spread, so in that case, you know, it's wherever you're shooting. But think about where the bubbles are going to go, the water coming in there, and then make sure you do a few test shots of the flower first of all, make sure you're in focus. And of course, you can either use a trigger to fire your camera, or you'll need somebody to pour the water in. Obviously I use Sally. So Sally poured the water in for me, I took the shots. When you pour the water in, let's just get this, it's important to think about where you're going to put them and also the speed that you do it. So try taking lots of shots. So I say if you get it in focus and then set your focus on a tripod, it's not going to move around, and so it doesn't matter too much about trying to focus on the shots, because that's going to be quite hard to do in between shots. I actually done that because I was hand holding the camera, but it would have been better on a tripod. So you need to vary the height and the distance to get the different shots. So let's see what you can come up with, see if you can do something similar. I've used the flower, perhaps you could use other objects. How inventive can you be? Anything in the water there, adding bubbles to it. You could even add colour, you could try food colouring. I would suggest putting it all in the water at once, but if you put some food colour into the jug of water, you're only going to have one attempt at this and pour it in, you will get the colour mixing with the water. The only trouble is after a couple of times then, all the water changes the same colour and it starts getting a bit messy, you've got to empty it again to do it again. So that would be the last shots to take. If you've took some clear water shots, try a bit of food dye or something and tip it in, and that will give you different effects. So good luck with that. Let's see what you can come up with.